Welcome to chapters 4 through 6 of the Turning Pro Book Club at go.fsbb.io. Today, we're jumping into chapters 4 through 6, which is My First Hero, My Smith Corona, and Shadow Careers. It's time for us to wake up, friends. Let's jump right in. My First Hero. There was a red-headed cat who used to come around sometimes when I lived in the house in the country. He was a battle-scarred old Tom who lived in the woods. On nights when I was home, I would cook supper for a little fire out back. The cat would materialize and sit across from me while I ate. I tried to toss him scraps of meat from time to time, but he wouldn't take them. He was nobody's pet. The geography of our dinners together was that I would sit at the cinder block step at the back of the house. The fire was in front of me inside a circle of stones on a patch of grass. The woods started 10 feet away. The red-headed cat would sit at the edge of the woods, facing me. He didn't lie down. He sat up, facing me, with his big front paws behind him. The cat regarded me with an expression that was somewhere between condescension and disdain. There was no doubt in either of our minds which one of us was the superior being, or which one possessed self-command and self-sovereignty. There was no doubt which one of us could take care of himself, and which one of us had his shit together. The cat looked at me as if he was trying to decide whether or not to kick my ass. I admired the red-headed cat. He became a role model for me. I wanted to be like the red-headed cat, and I missed him when he didn't come around. I regarded the apparition of the red-headed cat as a good omen and a sign that maybe I was on the right track. Fascinating here that his first hero is a cat, and it is abundantly clear that that animal, that cat, was far more self-sufficient, far more had self-sovereignty and self-command on his life than Stephen Pressfield did, even though he was supplying the food. Fascinating. My Smith Corona. What was really happening in that house in the country? What was happening is that I was hiding. In the back of my Chevy van, under piles of junk and rusting spare parts, sat my ancient Smith Corona typewriter. Why didn't I throw it away? I certainly wasn't using it. Fear and shame hung over me over that house, just as they permeated every crack and cranny of the hallway house back in town. I was terrified of sitting down in that Smith Corona and trying to write something. I was ashamed of myself because I knew I was terrified, but I was still too scared to act. My ambition was to write, but I had buried it so deep that it only peeked out in dreams and moments of insight that appeared at odd instants and then vanished without a trace. Everything I was doing in my outer life was a consequence and an expression of that terror and of that shame. Man, I got some good questions for us at the end of this. Chapter 6, Shadow Careers. Sometimes when we're terrified of embracing our true calling, we'll pursue a shadow calling instead. That shadow career is a metaphor for our real career. Its shape is similar. It contours, feels tantalizingly the same. But a shadow career entails no real risk. If we fail at a shadow career, the consequences are meaningless to us. Are you pursuing a shadow career? Are you getting your PhD in Elizabethan studies because you're afraid to write the tragedies and comedies that you know that you have inside of you? Are you living on the drugs and booze half of the musician's life without actually writing the music? Are you working in a support capacity for an innovator because you're afraid to risk becoming an innovator yourself? If you're dissatisfied with your current life, ask yourself what your current life is a metaphor of. That metaphor will point you towards your true calling. Some really great ideas here from Pressfield today. Some really solid chapters. And in a lot of this, it's about this idea of waking up to the realities that you're not actually stuck. It's just you're mentally stuck. We have to realize that cats and dogs are no more autonomous than we are. but yet at the same time, they have a freeing logic. They have a freeing lifestyle, and like cats and dogs might not worry about tomorrow, but we as humans certainly do. And so I wonder if that fear causes us to shrink away, right? Like Pressfield with his typewriter, his Smith Corona. Who was he hiding from? What was he hiding from? Was it really maybe just hiding from himself? And so I have 5 questions for you in today's chapters 4 through 6. Respond in the community on go.fsbb.io and let us know how you're leveling up today. First question: who is your first hero? That's a really good one. Do you have one? Do you have a hero that has ideas, that has characteristics, that has personality traits and things that you can aspire for? Number 2, who have you been hiding from? That could be a deeply introspective question. Who or what are you hiding from? Number 3, have you ever buried your dreams? I can tell you right now, I've never done that. I'm always trying to live out my dreams, even if it's costing me an arm and a leg and my soul. Number 4, are you pursuing a shadow career? This could be a tough one because I know that many people in our community are corporate employees. We have been pigeonholed into this role for a long time, and maybe, just maybe, this might be the year for you to extract yourself. And finally, number 5, if you're dissatisfied with your current life, ask yourself what your current life is a metaphor for. I'm curious about this. Now, certainly I'm not dissatisfied with my life. I'm able to build this amazing platform and this amazing community and helping individuals like yourself. That's why I'm here, clearly. But I'm curious as to those who are stuck and are going through this book club with us. What is your current life a metaphor for? And is that metaphor sad? Maybe it's time for action, friends. I'll see you in the community.